Okay, let's see here. The time is now 9 o'clock. I do believe this calls for FanFiction Fridays to begin, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Yes. Yes, it does. Okay. Now, it's been a while, so how's my voice? Is everything okay? Can you all hear me? Really hoping you can, because this surprise still isn't actually finished yet. But your hosts are definitely here. Is anybody in the chat? Let's see. Laura Jane came in 10 minutes ago, probably when I posted up that advert. Awesome. Saying hi. That's cool. That's cool. Rowan Sudowoodo Todd, what's happening, faggots? That's definitely him. The Ustream layout has changed. It certainly has. Oh my, everyone's here. Okay, let's see. Rowan here says, holy moly, your voice scared the shit out of me because my computer's volume was loud as hell. Aww. Laura Jane, voice is sexy, as usual. Indeed it is, thank you very much. Naysayer, what? Wait, what? Ustream actually looks nice now, and yeah, we can hear you. And Peppermint Patty says, yup. Okay, well, welcome to FanFiction Fridays. We have... Well, this is actually going to be a new season of FanFiction Fridays, and with a new season comes a new opening. Yes, we have an opening. Yep, I stuffed that. Oh, shut up, Pancakes. Okay, so I stuffed that. Give me a moment, because I totally didn't get that right. Okay. You know, this was a lot better in my head without an audience. I should have pre-recorded. Yes, Pancakes has a point here. I should have pre-recorded this. Okay. All of this is being uploaded to YouTube afterwards, by the way, so everyone knows that Season 2 got off to a roaring start. Alright. Let's see if I can get this right this time. Oh, hang on, I better get my voice ready. Okay. Golden microphone. Pegasus. We're singing this. This is great. We worked all week to try and get these lyrics right, but... well, let's just say technical difficulties always plague us. You all know that, though, as regular listeners, I'm sure. I'm in it, too. One line is all you get. Oh, but the full version... Don't tell them about the full version. That's not ready yet. Oh. Yeah, that's right. You sit there. Come on, guys. Are we ready? Yes, we are. I'm first. Prepare for stories with colorful characters. Oh, it's good so far. Let's just keep on the lines. To bring you new worlds through written word, from the brilliantly written to the completely absurd. To bring about laughter and tears to your eyes. What will we read next? It's a big surprise. Pegasus, GM. Oatstralia's got your entertainment sorted for you, so listen in. That's all you gotta do. Oh, hey! I'm a host too! That was great! I think we nailed it. We actually nailed it. Yes, we did. I can't believe that worked. Should we put up the lyrics when we upload this to YouTube? Yes, I think we should. It's a pity that this little track that we've got goes on for way too long. But hopefully we can get this uploaded to YouTube. With that, we welcome you all to Season 2. That's right, there was a Season 1 of some sort, and now to Season 2 of FanFiction Fridays. Welcome, everyone. Now, because we've got ourselves a Season 2 right here, and it has been a long time since we... cut off and moved to the new studio. we're going to start fresh. We're going to have ourselves a few new stories, and only if you want them to be continued, we'll have the old stories continued. Okay, so we'll have that posted up to Oatstralia On Air's Facebook page as well as the Tumblr. But just so you know, we're going to start with all new stories. So if you've got a story that you want to hear read out on season 2, just send it to us at our Skype, DJMAR3, that's DJ Mayor, hello, or to the Tumblr or to the Facebook page. Facebook's probably the easiest way to get to us, though. Let's see. Right now, though, we've got ourselves a brand new story that was suggested to us last night, believe it or not, by Sass Falcon. A mug of hard cider by Penstroke. Now, we're going to go right ahead and pop this into the chat, and for you listening later on YouTube, it'll be down in the description. Okay? Alrighty, so that's in the chat. That's down in the description. If you want to read along, go right ahead. Have a look. And we will begin right now. Ooh, wait a minute. Which one of us is going to be reading it? Good question. Because from what I can see of this particular fanfiction, I'm actually not sure if this is a trollfic or not. Ooh, can I please read it? I don't care if it's not a trollfic, just let me read it. I see Molestia. She's in it. I'm sure she's not in it. Oh. Look, I'll read it, okay? We'll start. I'll go. A Mug of Hard Cider by Penstroke. This is a sequel to A Drop of Moonshine. We may or may not be reading that one later. Aww. Rainbow Dash fluttered her wings as she landed, her hooves sinking into the deep snow just outside Sugar Cube Corner. She whipped her mane and lifted up her flight goggles before trotting into the warm, cozy interior of the bakery. Hey, Pinkie Pie, you got a seat for one more? Pinkie Pie poked her head up from behind a counter while balancing a tray of mugs on one hoof. You bet I do. Sit wherever you like. Rainbow nodded and moved further into the shop. With hearths-warming Eve just around the corner, Ponyville was becoming its own little winter wonderland. Every street, lamppost, and store window was decorated for the holiday. There was a snow pony on every corner, and numerous wreaths put a fresh pine scent in the air. Bells were ringing, carols were being sung, and holiday tidings were on every pony's lips. And the thing in every pony's stomach was Pinkie Pie's town-famous winter warmth hot chocolate. During that time of year, or whenever the weather got cold and the icicles stretched long, Sugar Cube Corner became more of a lodge than a bakery. It became a place for weary ponies to escape the chill in the air. They could melt the snow from their hooves by a fireplace and warm their bellies with the sweetest, richest hot chocolate any pony had ever tasted. Rainbow Dash crossed the room and plopped herself down in a chair at a table. Pinkie Pie soon delivered a cup of winter warmth hot chocolate just how Rainbow liked it, with extra whipped cream. Thanks, Pinkie Pie. This is just what I need. No problem, Pinkie Pie said with a grin. So, how was the weather patrol today? Did you move clouds? Oh, did you see any clouds with fun shapes like balloons or candy or flowers or... Whoa, slow down, Pinkie, Rainbow said. She placed her hooves on her cup, letting its heat seep into her chilled limbs. No, we didn't see any fun clouds. We were too busy bringing in a snowstorm from Cloudsdale. Rainbow Dash couldn't help but shiver. The coldest storm of the year. Pinkie Pie playfully stuck out her tongue. I thought you told me Pegasi don't get cold. I told you we don't get cold as easily, Rainbow corrected. It's thanks to all the high altitude flying we do. Hey, I was just teasing, Rainbow, Pinkie Pie giggled as she turned to leave. You just sit there, drink your hot chocolate, and I'll go get you a cookie, fresh from the oven. Rainbow Dash chuckled and lifted her mug. Thanks, but this is all I need. Pinkie Pie giggled, nodded, and quickly bounced off to go help the other customers. This left Rainbow Dash with a drink she had been craving since she and the rest of the weather team had finished bringing in the snowstorm. Smiling, Rainbow Dash licked her lips and took the first delicate sip from her cup. As always, Pinkie Pie had gotten it just right, and Rainbow took a longer swig of the hot chocolate before she breathed a content sigh. Next to Sweet Apple Acres cider, Pinkie Pie's winter warmth hot chocolate was her favorite sweet drink. Already feeling the hot chocolate's heat in her stomach, Rainbow Dash leaned back in her seat. She lazily licked at the whipped cream that clung to her upper lip, and she propped her hooves onto one of the empty chairs. "Well, don't you look as snug as a bug in a rug?" Rainbow smirked and sat up in her chair, as Applejack walked up to the table. The farm mare looked as if she had been out in the weather all day. Little pieces of ice and snow were frozen to her coat, as well as her boots and scarf. The rim of her hat even had icicles hanging from its edge. "Yeah, and you look half frozen," Rainbow said with a snort. "Well, that's what happens when you're out all day in the snow chasing after critters," Applejack said. She gave a shake, trying to cast off some of the ice and snow that was beginning to melt. She then approached one of the empty chairs at the table, removed her scarf, hung it on the back of the chair, and began the process of removing her boots. "Let me guess. You were helping Fluttershy," Rainbow Dash said before taking a sip of her hot chocolate. Applejack nodded as she removed her first boot and began working on the second. "You know her. Thinks those little critters of hers can't go no place without their little booties. And today that rabbit of hers, Angel, wouldn't have none of it. She and I chased that little fuzzball halfway across Ponyville, and I dove into the snow more times than I can count trying to grab the varmint." "Did you ever catch him?" "Fluttershy did." "Eventually," Applejack answered. She finished removing her boots, and took off her hat just long enough to brush the icicles off the rim. She then replaced it on her head and took her seat at the table. But only because the little critter got his fill of the outdoors and went home to take a nap. Even then she put them little boots on that rabbit. It was then Pinkie Pie slipped up to the table and set a must be big mug of hot chocolate with a tall dollop of whipped cream right in front of Applejack. The sight of the beverage brought a smile to Applejack's lips, and she turned that smile in Pinkie's direction. "Thanks a bunch, Sugar Cube. I was just about to order one of these." "Oh, I know," she replied. What, you've got a pinky sense for when somebody wants to order hot chocolate?" Rainbow Dash asked. Pinkie giggled. "No, silly. I just know because when any pony comes in with that much snow on them, they're here to get warm, and nothing warms a pony up like my winter warmth hot chocolate." This is starting to sound like an ad, goddammit. Applejack nodded, hooked her hoof into the ring of the mug, and lifted it up above her head. "Cheers to that," she said before taking a long swig of the hot chocolate. Like Pinkie Pie always guaranteed, it was the perfect temperature. Not hot enough to burn your tongue, but still made you cozy on the inside. This really is an advert, isn't it? I want to go to Sugar Cube Corner. "You're telling me." "Ah, now that hit the spot," Applejack said with a content sigh when she finished her first swig. "Yeah, but it isn't as good as your apple cider," Rainbow Dash said. "You still going on about that?" Applejack asked. "Cider season ended back before Nightmare Night." "Hey, it isn't my fault the cider you make is delicious," Rainbow Dash complained. "I mean, you can't sell your cider year-round, like you sell your apple jam." Applejack finished taking a drink of her hot chocolate and set down her nearly empty mug on the table. "'Cause cider don't keep like apple jam. It spoils right quick if it's left to set. I can only imagine those barrels I put down in the cellar are rancid by now." "Wait, what barrels?" Rainbow Dash asked, leaning in and lowering her voice to a whisper. "Are you saying you have some apple cider left? Now don't go getting your hopes up, Rainbow. Even if that cider was fit to drink, it was a special order by Princess Celestia. Ever since the Apple family started making cider, the princess had always ordered some be delivered to Canterlot." Rainbow Dash cocked her head to one side. "Wait, then why is it in your cellar?" "'Cause, like I said, it was a special order," Applejack explained. "Don't know why, but this year Princess Celestia had me and my family do something special to her barrels and then keep them in our cellar. She's actually supposed to come by in a few days to taste the cider." Rainbow Dash downed the rest of her hot chocolate and wiped the small lingering whipped cream from her lip. "Why would the princess need to taste it? Is she expecting it to taste bad or something?" "I don't rightly know," Applejack said with a shrug. "My family and I just followed the instructions she gave us. But I guess I'll see why she wants to taste it in a few days, 'cause I'll be tasting it too." Rainbow Dash sat up in her chair, her eyes wide with disbelief. "Wait, she's going to let you have some?" "Yep. She said there's something special about this cider, this would be real cider." Applejack huffed and crossed her forelegs across her chest. "No offense to the princess, but I don't think she knows what she's talking about. Our cider's just as real as any pony's.
Before Applejack could say another word, Rainbow Dash leapt onto the table and brought her forehooves together pleadingly. "Oh, please, Applejack, can you ask the princess if I can have some too? I only got 2 mugs last cider season and Pinkie Pie got like 50. That isn't fair." "And you think it's fair that I should ask Princess Celestia to share the cider she special ordered from us, even if it had been sitting in barrels for 3 months?" "Yes!" Rainbow Dash replied in desperation. "I mean, we saved Equestria. Twice! The least she could do is share some of her cider. Please, Applejack, I'm just asking for a little bit." "Rainbow, I think you and I need to have a discussion about just how much you like my family cider," Applejack commented before sighing and scratching the back of her neck. "But I suppose there's no harm in asking, 'cept Princess says no, and then I don't want you making a scene. Got it?" Applejack looked up to make sure Rainbow Dash was listening, but her Pegasus friend hadn't heard a word beyond fine. She was now rocking back and forth in her seat, a huge grin on her face as she chanted, "I'm gonna get some cider, I'm gonna get some cider." A few days later, with Luna's moon rising in the sky, Applejack led Rainbow Dash across the snow-covered ground of Sweet Apple Acres. The pair rounded to the far side of the barn and, after digging in the snow a little, was able to find the entry door to Applejack's apple cellar. It was the place usually used to store the jars of apple jam the family made, which helped keep the Apple family economically afloat and fed during the winter months. After descending into the cellar, Applejack lit oil lanterns. The gentle glow of the flame reflected off the many stacked shelves of jars. Yet, at the very back of the cellar, stacked in a corner and pushed out of the way, were a half-dozen large barrels, Rainbow Dash recognized. "Oh, there they are!" Rainbow Dash said. She rushed ahead and pounced on the nearest barrel. She hugged it to her chest and licked her lips to hold back her quickly forming drool. "Oh, you sweet, sweet cider! You're all mine!" Applejack grabbed Rainbow Dash by the tail and hauled her off the barrel. "Now don't go marrying it, Rainbow. These are Princess Celestia's barrels. You can only have some if she says it's okay, and only if you help me get these out of here." "Out of here? Wait, where are we taking them?" "We're taking them to the Cozy Stable, that inn in town. Princess Celestia reserved a room there, and that's where she wants to taste the cider," Applejack answered. She pulled one of the barrels off the stack, laid it on its side, and began to roll it toward the cellar door. "Or did you honestly expect the princess to taste the cider down here in my cellar?" "Well, maybe. It's a nice cellar," Rainbow Dash answered as she grabbed a barrel as well and began to roll it to the door. "That it is," Applejack said with a laugh. "But I don't think any cellar in the world, no matter how nice, can really be special enough for the princess." Rainbow Dash nodded her head as she and Applejack left the first pair of barrels by the door and went back to fetch 2 more. "I guess that makes sense. Speaking of special, you said there was something special about this cider?" "Sure is. Princess Celestia had us follow very specific recipes." "Which were?" Rainbow Dash asked with a pair of as the pair of mares got another set of barrels and began rolling them towards the door. "Well, if I remember it correctly, first we took some of our plain cider. Then we had to simmer it for almost an hour. Just simmer it. We weren't supposed to let it boil at all. Otherwise Princess Celestia said the end result would be hazy. Then we had to stir in a few big spoonfuls of honey." "Honey?" Rainbow Dash echoed. "I never thought about adding honey to cider before. I wonder if that makes it taste better. It'd make it sweeter at least," Applejack said as the pair of mares delivered their latest barrels near the door and went back to fetch the last few. "Was that all the princess wanted you to do?" Rainbow Dash asked. "No," Applejack said with a shake of her head. "After that we had to pour the cider into nice clean barrels and add yeast to them. Then the princess had us seal them up tight, and with these here special corks." Applejack paused and pointed to one of the last barrels. The corks in question were still primarily made of corkwood, but in the center there was a metal device. "What's that?" Rainbow Dash asked as she looked at the cork more closely. "Well, when I had Twilight take a look at it, she says that's some kind of fancy one-way valve. Lets air out of the barrel, but don't let any in." Applejack answered as she took the barrel and tipped it on its side. "It only lets air out?" But then how did the air get inside the barrel in the first place? Rainbow Dash asked. She took the last barrel from the stack, and then saw a large red crystal on the floor. The barrels had been sitting on it. And what's that? A warming crystal I got from Twilight. Princess Celestia said these barrels need to be kept at a certain temperature, but there was no room for them in the house, so that crystal kept them warm. Rainbow Dash scratched her head in confusion. Honey? Yeast? Special corks? Warmth? Why would the princess want you to do all this to the cider? Applejack shrugged again and began rolling the last barrel toward the door. I don't really know. Like I said, I'm going to be surprised if this here cider hasn't spoiled. Now come on, let's get this stuff to the princess. Just a quick interlude and break here to remind everyone that on Sunday, Australian Eastern Standard Time, we will be experiencing daylight savings. So at 2 a.m. on Sunday morning, please set your clocks ahead to 3 a.m. Also, this is also regarding Sunday, there is a Pokemon tournament on. The Bronies of New South Wales will be holding a Pokemon tournament right here in the studio. That's right, the Oatstralia On Air studios will play host to the Pokemon tournament of Bronies of New South Wales. It's also being hosted by Pancakes and Golden Microphone. Yes, and one more little thing. The first episode of Shenanigans Are Magic will be recorded live on the day, and then edited later, of course, for everyone to see. So, if you're looking forward to Shenanigans Are Magic, and some multiplayer fun, and some great Pokemon stuff, and from what I understand, a new show apparently coming to Australia On Air, the Pokemon Battle Tower, be sure to be ready dressed in your Sunday best. Well, whatever your Sunday best may be, a t-shirt is fine as far as I'm concerned. Be sure to come along. It's being held in Auburn, but be sure to message me on Facebook or through Skype for the actual address so that you may come and participate. Come along, bring your Pokemon, your cards, your games, heck, even your plushies if you want to. Bring them along and come along and have some fun. Ah yes, there's also one more little thing. Problem is I'm not sure if I can I really hope I can find it. Hang on a sec. Whoops, not supposed to hit play all. No, don't want to play all. No. I want to view the list. Please let it be here. Is it here? Ah yes, here we are. Okay. Let's see. I need this. There we are then. And guess what? Australia On Air now has an advert. I think you all know who this handsome fellow is. If you don't, listen in.
Hi, my name is Jackson Nomidobi, and I play Captain McAwesome America Steel, and you're watching Australia On Air.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. That just happened. And now we go back to the story. Mug of hard cider. Actually, no, we're going to some music. I am trolling. I am trolling you all hard. This is what Season 2 is all about. Trolling. No, it's actually about stories. No. I am terrible. So here we go. A new piece from YourEnigma. 3 Balloons. On Australia On Air. Enjoy the music. That was YourEnigma with his new collection, with the first part of his new collection of music, Roots. This was Three Balloons, a little ditty dedication to Pinkie Pie, as you probably heard from how wonderfully twinkly the whole thing was. Basically, it's a departure from his recent experiments in electronica, and right back to his roots, which is the piano. And I tell you what, it sounds fan-friggin-tastic. Ah, I should probably tell you what's going on here and why you can probably hear some plastic and a little horse trying to boot me in the nose with its own nose. Viral Hazard here has found a lot of trinkets around the studio and has been toying around with them. Currently, he's wearing a hat sideways on his head. I believe he brought that one in himself. Now he's wearing it upside down. Why? He's there.
Wear a hat upside down.
I don't know how he's doing it, but he's wearing it upside down. How
Inside
even
out, and all of my don't even.
if I had a camera, I would take a picture of this. I don't have a camera. He's also found Doctor Who's sonic screwdriver. He's been sonicking everything, including the cats. He's also found a pair of blocker glasses. I don't know where the hell those came from. I honestly don't. It's weird.
I just found them on the lounge.
He's also found. I'm not even sure what that is. What's it called? It's a pony head. You know, one of those things with the stick with the pony head on it.
Horse's head in your
So
bed.
it's the horse's head in your bed. No, no, no.
Skins like this.
It also has a plastic bag over it. So
Nom, 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 nom.
yeah.
I've worn it as a hat before.
And we're back with the first episode of Shenanigans of Magic. No. These are shenanigans. How are you wearing that? That is weird.
Flip it inside out. That's how you go.
That-
By the way, I've been like this the entire time.
He had.
Never turned around. So I was kind of hoping that
He's been prancing around the whole studio like this. I don't even know how or why.
the whole time.
I'm just saying you're prancing because prancing. Prancing is fun.
If I was prancing, you would have heard me.
True. Still, prancing. I can just imagine you prancing. That would be the greatest thing to see. Up he goes. No, no, no. He hasn't gotten up. Oh dear. Okay. Yes, fake horse. Let's see. Oh dear. Oh, okay. So I'm reading the chat here. Rowan Sudawuda Todd just said, "The fuck are you guys doing there?" Oh my.
Viral hazard style.
Viral Hazard style. Oh my lord, he's actually doing it. Why? If only if only I had a camera. This is the greatest thing ever. You're all. This, we need screenshots here. This is great. To answer your question, Rowan, Viral Hazard style. That's what it is. The lagging monster came straight after saying, maybe Viral is the illegitimate son of Pinkie, either that or a distant cousin. To be honest, how he's acting right now, yes, this is quite possibly true.
I always thought I was more of a cousin of Discord, but
He thought he was a cousin of Discord. If you didn't hear that, I'm sure. Peppermint Patty says, fake horse. Yes, it was a fake horse. And for,
before where I dressed up as Spider-Man in the store.
yeah, he dressed up as Spider-Man while we were shopping for groceries for the weekend. It's like,
I actually found the mask, I put
He
it
was-
on with a Santa hat, and I did that
Hip.
nope thing with dancing ham, whatever it is.
he did the I do what I want dance. All we were missing was Cat Groove. It was the greatest thing to see. I'm so sorry that we didn't have cameras on this. If you're really lucky and he's in a good mood, maybe he'll do a repeat of this on Sunday. Maybe.
The hat upside down, all that.
Rowan Sudawudo then replies with, God dang, what a shame you have no camera. It is a shame.
I'm actually glad.
And Viral's very glad that we didn't. Because, wow. That's a viral video in and of itself. Oh, see where I went there. Where's my drum kit to kick down the stairs? Lagging Monster then says, maybe you should carry a camera with you everywhere you go. I've watched Marble Hornets. No thank you. Now, we get ourselves back to the story of Mug of Hard Cider. Once again, for you who are listening on YouTube, if you haven't already, been reading along, shame on you. Get down to the description bar and have a look-see in there. Princess Celestia smiled as she...
He did it.
Oh, good lord.
Press here button.
Pancakes.
Okay.
I don't even know if anyone can hear that, but that fake horse is... What? Okay. Okay. Right. What fan fiction show, indeed. It's Shenanigans Are Magic the Warm-Up. Rowan, why are you not here? Pedo Bear just gave me the creepiest thing I've ever read. I must find a way to get under your bed and live there. And the Lagging Monster says, I can hear a horse neighing and clopping. Lol. Yeah, you did hear a horse neighing and clapping. That was that thing that Viral was riding. Viral style. Oh boy. So, first episode of the new season, we have clopping and Viral style. This is turning out to be amazing. Rowan says Kyzo isn't there either. I'm sorry, but I think you're mistaken. Kyzo is Viral.
We are one and the same.
We are one and the same, he says, in case you didn't hear that. But yes, Kyzo, Pancakes, and myself are part of the Shenanigans of Magic team. We will be there on Sunday for our first show. Why am I advertising that show? Because advertising.
This is the first I've ever heard of it. Because sellout.
I'm not a sellout. Which reminds me,
Oh, no,
this show is brought to you by...
Shameless self-promotion.
It is shameless self-promotion. This show is brought to you by PonyCon AU 2013. For more information... For more information, visit ponyconau.com. Link in the description for you YouTubers.
You want the show to just to be us being random idiots.
This-
We're having more fun that way.
This is pretty much what this is what Shenanigans and Magic is going to be like. It's going to be great.
This plus game.
This plus games. And when I get my actual microphone working, I think we'll get things going. This is... what? Viral! What are you doing?
Probably get back to the fan.
I think we need to get back to the fan fictions. I think they want this.
Us being idiots.
On Sunday.
I think we're losing the plot. here. Assuming that-
Oh,
yeah,
oh, you went there, didn't you, Pancake?
unintentional pun.
Good grief. Pancake's just, I'm going to have to put subtitles to this video, aren't I? I think I am.
I didn't realize all this is going to go on YouTube now, so...
All of this is going on YouTube. And we're back.
I do this on Sunday
You guys are nuts. I love it. I absolutely love it. And Prime Sonic has just made it into the show. You missed out on the beginning, but you can watch the YouTube later. It's going to be so amazing. You're going to love it, Prime. You are going to love it. Pedo Bear says, I can only imagine the shenanigans with me, Pegasus, and everyone else will happen when I'm there. There's going to be some craziness, that's for sure. But you're in Malaysia, my good friend. You're going to have to come on down here for shenanigans. Rowan says, meanwhile, I have a light in my mouth. What? Okay. Pancakes just said, did he just brush his teeth really hard? Brushy, bitches. Rena-chan would be very happy with you, Rowan. Prime Sonic says, so good to hear GM again after so long. It is wonderful to be back. Although you've literally just missed out on 10 or so minutes worth of shenanigans. And of course, Doctor Who's Sonic in my ear. That doesn't fix anything. My mind is broken beyond repair. No sonicking is going to help me.
You said I'm fixing it.
Oh. And he's done it again. He's no. We're not doing it. No. We are getting back to the story. Mug of hard cider. For Prime Sonic, because he's only just joined us, I'm going to repost this into the chat. There we go. That's a link to the story. Rowan just says, this is making me look forward to Shenanigans of Magic even more than before. And so it should. Which reminds me, later on there's going to be a slight preview of Shenanigans of Magic. I say slight because the preview isn't quite ready, but it's going to happen anyway. Later on. Now, we're going to get back into the story. A mug of hard cider. For Prime Sonic's sake, we are a little ways down. If you can just try to read along, or if you can just listen on, that'd be great. Just a quick recap. Applejack has just told Rainbow Dash about a secret store of cider that Princess Celestia wanted kept aside and maintained in a certain way, using yeast, honey, simmering, and some warmth. I think we all know where this is going. And before I get back into it, Prime Sonic, the last comment that I'm going to be reading is, being on the other side of the globe makes it hard to stay close to you guys, but I do what I can. Love you all. He can get over here once I write that letter to him. I need to write a letter so that he can show his embassy. I will write it. You are here to cheer me on after the show to write it. So we'll write this letter so that the embassy over in why was I about to say Argentina? That damn Sonic! My brain! Stop it! Stop! He's sonicking my brain. Anyway, I need to write a letter to his embassy so that they can grant him his visa so he can come over here for PonyCon AU. He has his ticket. All he needs is to get that letter, then his plane ticket, then he can come here. It's all good stuff. It'll be good. It'll be very good. Yes, good. All right. Now, Princess Celestia smiled as she lay on the bed provided by the cozy stable. It was obvious the owners of this little inn weren't used to playing host to royalty, but they had done their best to accommodate Celestia in every way they could. They had turned the downstairs dining room of the inn, usually reserved for private parties, into a suite for the princess. 2 beds had been pushed together to create something large enough for her to sleep on, and all the finest furniture from around the inn had been collected and placed in the room. In truth, Celestia would have been happy with far less fuss, but as usual, trying to tell that to her little ponies had proven fruitless. Still, she'd ensure that they were properly compensated. She'll leave a large tip and perhaps make a royal recommendation, which almost guaranteed her business would do well for years to come. At the moment, that concern was not what pressed at the front of Celestia's mind. It was her thirst. One that had been haunting her since late summer. 1 glass. It was only supposed to be that 1 glass of Luna's moonshine. It was only supposed to be that single night of overindulgence and the occasional evening sip after that. Yet, old vices had proven stronger than she had anticipated. The relief that came with a single glass of moonshine after a long day was almost as sweet as the drink itself, but Luna did not make the beverage frequently enough to sate her taste. She needed more. Something to supplement what Luna was providing. Luna had been understanding, thankfully. Celestia's dear sister had done what she herself could not. Luna had repealed the Dry Equestria Act, which banned the production and sale of alcohol in Equestria. Yet, this had come with conditions. If Celestia reintroduced Equestria to alcohol too quickly, or if it became too big of a problem for her or the populace, Luna would sign the law back into effect and stop making her moonshine as well. The thought of having to quit cold turkey again made Celestia shiver. She had been forced to do that nearly 1,000 years ago, and that was not an experience she wanted to repeat. She had to act slowly, carefully, and maintain control. Thus, to ensure her control of the situation, Celestia turned to the most honest pony in Equestria, an honest mare who possessed the integrity and patience to make the quality product and to not sell it irresponsibly when she became informed of its dangers. A knock came at the door, drawing Princess Celestia from her thoughts. She smiled, rose from her bed, and set down the book that she had been reading between the idle wanderings of her mind. With a flick of her horn, the door opened, and a few moments later, the honest pony she had entrusted rolled a barrel through the door. Applejack brought the barrel a few feet into the room. She then turned, removed her hat, and bowed to Celestia. "Good evening, Princess." "Good evening to you too, Applejack," Princess Celestia said with a gentle smile on her lips. She strode towards Applejack, but couldn't keep herself from glancing over at the barrel. She uttered a silent prayer that it contained the liquid she sought, and then looked back to Applejack. "I trust you are well?" "I sure am, your highness," Applejack replied as she rose from her bow and placed her hat back on her head. "And I trust this is part of my order?" Applejack nodded and tapped her hoof on the barrel. "Yes, Princess, and the rest of the barrels are outside in the cart. They're ready to be shipped out to Camelot as soon as you give this here cider a taste." "As soon as we give this a taste," Celestia corrected. She picked the barrel up with her magic and began levitating it across the room. "While I made this order for myself, Applejack, I want to share it with you as well. I believe this particular recipe could be very beneficial to your family." "Oh, well, speaking of tasting, your highness, I was wondering—" Applejack trailed off and shifted anxiously on her hooves. Celestia set the barrel down on a nearby table and gently popped the cork from the side. She allowed herself a moment to sniff the freed aromas, and her smile only widened. It smelled perfect. "Yes, Applejack? What is it?" "Well, you see, I didn't mean to, but I kind of mentioned your order when I was sitting with Rainbow Dash at Sugar Cube Corner. So we got off to talking, and one thing led to another, and, well, would you mind if she tasted it with us? It's just she's a real big fan of my family cider, and I don't know why, but she's always end up getting at least the least of any pony in Ponyville." Celestia set the cork of the barrel off to one side and lit her horn as she began to feed her magic into the barrel. "I don't see any reason why not. Good cider like this should be shared, after all." "Yes!" Rainbow Dash shouted loudly. She had been hiding just outside the door, and upon hearing the princess, she flew into the room and began to dance energetically in the air. "I'm gonna get some cider! I'm gonna get some cider! I'm gonna get some—" Applejack yanked Rainbow Dash out of the air by her tail and quickly put her hoof over her mouth. Applejack then laughed weakly and forced a smile as she looked over at the princess. I'm sorry about that, your highness. She just really likes my family cider. It's quite all right. Your family cider is renowned for its flavor. Just give me a moment more. I need to remove the sediments," Celestia said. Her magic sank down into the barrel, probing its depths for minuscule granules of sediment. Bit by bit, she began filtering the liquid inside, gathering and removing the particulates? Yes. And levitating them into the trash bin by the door. "What are you talking about? Sediments?" Applejack asked. She moved over beside the princess and put her forehooves on the table so she could look at the barrel. "There weren't anything wrong with that cider when it was put in the barrel." "Oh, no, I'm sure there wasn't. These sediments were created by the yeast I had you add," Princess Celestia explained as she continued to work with her magic. "You see, Applejack, the yeast has done something rather special to your cider. It's turned this barrel of soft cider into something a little stronger." "How is cider supposed to be stronger?" Rainbow Dash asked. She hovered over beside the princess and sniffed at the air. "And why does it smell different?" "As I said, this cider has changed, but hopefully you'll find the flavor just as enjoyable," Princess Celestia said as her magic withdrew the last of the yeast sediments. She then turned her attention to the far side of the room, where her luggage sat tucked away in a corner. With practiced efficiency, Celestia opened up a pouch on the luggage and withdrew from it a special cork with a spout built in. The princess inspected the spout, making sure that it was in the same condition it had been in when she packed it, before she fit it snugly into the mouth of the barrel. She then levitated the barrel off the table and into a special wooden rack that had been set up against the wall of the room. The rack allowed the barrel to lie on its side without rolling, and it put the newly inserted spout in an easily accessible position. Now, let's take a look. With that, Princess Celestia used her magic to pick up a tray on her bedside table. The tray had a stack of sandwiches on it, along with several clean, crystal-clear glass mugs. She set the tray down on the table beside her. Applejack and Rainbow Dash took up one of the glass mugs and filled it from the spout in the barrel. Mug filled to the brim, Celestia held the cider up to the light and inspected it with a discerning eye. The color is good, and the clarity is wonderful, though that's mostly because I removed the sediments, she mused before glancing at Applejack. In the future I would suggest not shaking the barrels so much. This sediment naturally settles. You can siphon off the clear liquid into a clean barrel easily enough if you don't roll it around. Oh, okay, guess that's good to know, Applejack said, still unsure of what was so special about this cider. Yes, but let's see if it tastes as good as it looks, shall we? Celestia tipped the mug to her lips and drew a small sip onto her tongue. Though it could not compare to Luna's moonshine, the princess was more than pleased with the hard cider. It had a rich, earthy taste, while still remaining sweet. It was warm on the tongue, as cider should be, and, most importantly, it had just the right strength. The alcoholic content was not overpowering, but neither was it weak. It was almost perfect, which was more than Celestia could have hoped for from Applejack's very first batch. So, how is it? It isn't rancid, is it? Applejack asked nervously. Oh, no, of course not, Applejack. It tastes just wonderful, Celestia assured her. I can tell you followed my instructions to the letter, though in the next batch perhaps consider adding another spoonful of honey. Applejack smiled and watched as the princess took another drink from her mug. Well, shoot, of course. I just wish I knew honey would help apple cider keep earlier. My family would have started storing this stuff over the winter years ago. Oh, no, Applejack. It wasn't the honey that allowed the cider to keep. It was the yeast, Celestia explained. I'll elaborate on what happened to the cider in the morning. Right now, I believe it's time we enjoyed this wonderful hard cider with this tray of sandwiches. And I do suggest you eat something as we drink. It will lessen the effects. Applejack cocked her head to one side. Rainbow Dash, on the other hoof, had hardly heard a word. She was licking her lips and drooling as Celestia filled 2 more mugs from the barrel. The princess then set the mugs down on the table and motioned for Applejack and Rainbow Dash to sit. Cheers, Celestia said before tipping back her own glass mug. Applejack and Rainbow Dash smiled from their seats at the table, slipped their hooves through the handles of the mugs, and lifted their mugs to the air as well. Cheers, they said back to Celestia. The pair followed suit and tipped their mugs and began to drink. Applejack, however, choked on her first gulp, and she was forced to set her mug down on the table and cough, while Rainbow Dash downed her whole mug in a few swift gulps. What? What happened to it? Applejack asked between her coughs. I know how cider's supposed to have a bite to it, but nothing that strong. That's another effect of the yeast you added, Applejack, Celestia answered, after finishing off her own mug. Like I told you, it made the cider a bit stronger. Well, I like it, Rainbow Dash proclaimed happily as she set her now empty mug on the table. She looked over at the barrel, unable to resist licking her lips, and as she asked, Do you think I could have some more? Celestia nodded while levitating a sandwich in front of Rainbow Dash. Yes, of course, but why don't you try eating something first and giving Applejack time to finish her mug? We wouldn't want to drink more than our fair share, now would we? Rainbow Dash shook her head and took the sandwich from Celestia's magic. No way! That's what Pinkie Pie does every year. She's always first in line and she gets like 30 big mugs, and it's not fair! If she got even half that, then they wouldn't run out of cider by the time I got to the front of the line. Oh, quit your belly aching and eat your food. Applejack snipped before taking another gulp. Now that she knew what to expect from the cider, she was able to swallow it down with a lot less fuss. It still tasted like her family cider, a rich apple flavour with a warm, sweet aftertaste. The cider's bite, however, had a bit of warmth to it. It also fizzled on her tongue and in her throat, almost like soda. Celestia watched Applejack finish her first mug, and she kept a careful eye on both her and Rainbow Dash as they enjoyed the sandwiches as well. The trio then enjoyed a second round of what Celestia kept calling hard cider. It wasn't long after the second mug that Applejack shook her head and glanced over at Rainbow Dash. "Hey, Rainbow, are you feeling different?" "What do you mean?" she asked, sending soggy, half-chewed chunks of bread into the air as she talked through the half-chewed sandwich in her mouth. "I don't know. I'm just starting to feel kind of, well, I guess I'd call it relaxed. Like I got to sit down after a long day of working in the fields. Are you feeling anything, Princess?" Celestia smiled and began to refill the 3 mugs. "No, not just yet. But then again, I am twice your size, my little ponies. It takes a bit more of this hard cider to help me unwind." "And why do you keep calling it that?" Applejack asked as she grabbed one of the sandwiches for herself and took a big bite. "Oh, I'll explain that in the morning, after you've had a chance to experience the effects of this drink on a first hoof basis. Now, who's ready for some more?" Not us for the moment. We're going to have ourselves a break. Now, let's see. Apparently I've been sent I'm being sent something. On, it's on the Facebook. So, let's have ourselves a look. Apparently I've been sent a song through Facebook. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Ah yes, Octavia's Secret. The Double D remix by SimGretina. Ah, we haven't heard from SimGretina in a long time, have we? Well, in that case, we're going with Octavia's Sexy Secret, the Double D remix. Is that Double or Double? It's a Double. Okay. Octavia's Sexy Secret, Double D remix by SimGretina, right here on FanFiction Fridays. Enjoy the music. And we're back on FanFiction Fridays. That was Octavia's Sexy Secret, the Double D remix by SimGretina. Apparently, Pancakes has been telling me that he's been pumping out a song every 2 days now. Right, so we have heard from him in quite a short time. Oh my stars. Ow. Okay, that hurts a little. Got my main caught in the headset. I don't even know how that happened. I really don't. That was weird. I think we should probably take a little break from Mug of Hard Cider, but it does seem like we're about to get into some fanfiction territory right here. Ponies and alcohol. This can only be questionable? Nah, we'll just continue on for now. Remember, if there's a particular story that you want to hear, we're doing all new stories for this new season of FanFiction Fridays. If you want continuations, do post them specifically into the Facebook or the Tumblr or onto my Skype, and we'll talk turkey, pony, whatever. When do I get to go? When someone posts a troll fic, that's yours, Pegasus.
Encore reading of Rainbow Dash Seduces a Watermelon.
Oh. For those of you who may or may not have heard just then, Pancakes just suggested that we do an encore reading of Rainbow Dash Seduces a Watermelon. That was definitely a good fanfic. It was well written. I'll give you that, but I don't even.
I'm sure there's a picture of it somewhere.
It's the internet. It
I said I'm sure there's a picture of it out there somewhere.
True. Viral's just said that there's got to be a picture out there somewhere of it. We all know this to be true.
It probably is out there.
So if you are looking for something to do whilst we're doing this radio show, look for a picture of Rainbow Dash seducing a watermelon and post it to me.
Preferably humping, but
Well, Rainbow Dash doing something to a watermelon, whatever. Rainbow Dash and a watermelon. Post it to us and we'll put it up onto the stream for everyone to see. Okay? Okay. Because I'm fairly sure you're probably tired of looking at me and my wonderful face and my book. Also, in case you're wondering, there is a slight rumble in the background. That's a train going past. Yeah, the studio is next to a train station. Probably a bad choice of studio, but you'd be surprised. For those of you who are coming along on Sunday, it's fantastic. You're going to love it. Now, back to Mug of Hard Cider. Oh, and before anyone asks, this is a 2-hour show. It is currently 10 p.m., so we're 1 hour in. We have 1 hour to go. I really don't think we're going to be finishing Mug of Hard Cider by the... This story looks huge.
story is long.
Thank you, Robert Oates. Anyway. More mugs of cider and sandwiches later. Celestia once... Okay, not entirely sure where that... Oh wait, yes I do. Pedo Bear has just sent us a picture of Rainbow Dash sleeping with a watermelon.
Oh my god, it does exist.
I hate to ask, but Rule 34
It's... I don't know if this is Rule 34.
is there penetration.
It's a watermelon.
Yeah, is there penetration?
It's a watermelon.
Not in the watermelon, I mean...
Oh, for the love of... Give me a moment and I will bring this up so that you... Oh no. 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 Ah, why are you clopping here? Why? Stop. Stop enjoying yourself so thoroughly. Oh god, it's all over me now. Oh. Oh, why? Why am I doing this? Alright, alright. Look. Okay. Add this picture. Okay.
It's the best picture.
Where are we?
Luke.
Rainbow Dash and a watermelon. Actually, yeah, where is Luke? He'd love to see Rainbow Dash with a watermelon.
He'd like to see baby.
It
It-
was there the first time it was red, and then he went, no, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Don't
Yeah,
come
true
back.
that. Oh, there it is. There we go. Aw.
Eating no more milk.
Aw, look at that. Aw. That's actually kind of really adorable. This story has nothing to do with Rainbow Dash and a watermelon. I just thought this would be nice to put up.
Yes.
Yes, it's not over yet.
Of course, then again, Rainbow Dash and Cider. Who knows?
Maybe she just has a thing for fruit.
I'm sure she experimented with watermelons.
I don't know if anyone can actually hear you two at all.
Can you
The-
hear me?
These two are just going crazy. My stars. Okay, I know exactly where that sound came from. There we go. Shenanigans on FanFiction Fridays. It's happened.
You're the one that said you can't play this game, and this is what happened. So it's your fault.
Okay, so Rowan's just told us to keep it PG. And when I said it was all over me, I meant that damn fake horse was all over me. It's just being...
You did.
I
It's
did.
after 10, we can do whatever the hell we want.
Well, it's after 10 for us, but not for anyone in Argentina. They're currently at work. That is awkward. Looks like Peter Bear can't actually hear. Okay, so yeah, I definitely... Oh, for the love of... We need to get a much better mic for any of our shenanigans or magic things, because there's no way we're going to be using headset mics for this. This is terrible.
All that headset mics, but I'm too poor to afford them.
Come on, Paul.
Become unpoor.
Oh, it's just that. Why did I ever think of that? I'll snap my fingers, suddenly I'm on poor. Thank you, I've learned the secret to success in life.
You're welcome. Well, I am the king of ponies. I think, because I got a pony head on a stick.
King of ponies, watch out, everyone's out for your blood now.
Too late.
Anyway, I should probably get back to the message.
Okay,
The title of the show.
okay, yeah,
And
it's
that's Friday.
oh lord, it's time to get back to the fanfiction. Prime Sonic says he doesn't see what's wrong with RD and a watermelon. You don't know you don't know this fiction. You don't know. Stop it, Viral. There may be Rule 34 out there, but this is not 34. I mean, there's... oh, wait. Oh, no. Oh, God. I've just figured out what this is.
35.
Worse. It's gore. Do you understand? Do you understand what you are seeing? This is gore that we're looking at.
What do you mean, Goro?
Come on. It's
Ah.
gore. What is...
Yeah, you can probably show me any image and it won't affect me. Yeah, I think...
You don't get it, do you, Viral?
What?
It's a picture of gore.
Yeah.
Look.
I've seen pictures
The-
of Sonic the Hedgehog with a
Stop.
friend.
Stop. That you don't get the joke. The joke here is that the watermelon is cut in half. It's gore.
gore.
Dat gore. I'm showing horrible Rule 34 right here.
Eat the water.
Right,
Rainbow Dash's fruit ninja. Pancakes? Okay. Looks like people can't really hear you guys, so we're definitely going to have to figure out a new mic system for this. This is horrible. This is terrible. Don't even do that. It's actually, yeah, you go ahead and do that if you want to. That's cool. He says he wants to do anything he wants.
I can say anything I want because no one will.
Okay, say whatever he wants. But apparently I'm supposed to repeat what you guys are saying. So I if it's not PG, I'm not going to repeat it. You guys, we got to keep this PG for WrestleMania. I don't even get that joke. I really don't. Anyway, taking Rainbow Dash off the dash. Hello. I'm not repeating that. Good grief. Now, going back to the story. After 7 minutes of shenanigans, this is great. More mugs of cider and sandwiches later, Celestia once more had a pleasant rosiness in her cheeks and a slight slur in her speech. The cider had proven itself a little stronger than Celestia initially believed. She had not expected herself to get this drunk on the amount she had consumed. Rainbow Dash and Applejack were thankfully a few mugs behind her, but at the same time their smaller sizes meant they were already waist-deep in the inebriating effect of the alcohol. "Ha! I told you couldn't beat me!" Applejack shouted as she slapped her hoof down on the table. Over the course of the last 2 minutes, the alcohol in the cider had brought out both Rainbow Dash's and Applejack's more competitive natures. In short order, they had had 3 hoof wrestling contests, 2 staring contests, a drinking contest to see who could empty a full mug first, and then another staring contest, which Applejack just won. Staring contests are stupid anyways, Rainbow Dash sputtered before taking another bite of what would be her 4th sandwich of the evening and proceeding to talk with a mouthful. "There's no skill to it. I'll bet Twilight could win a staring contest." Applejack snorted and lifted her half-empty mug to her lips. "Against a sorry starer like you, sure she would. Twilight can't beat me. She beat y'all in a race, didn't she?" Rainbow Dash pointed her hoof accusingly at Applejack. "Hey! She beat both of us. 'Cause y'all was slowing me down," Applejack retorted. "I could have won if y'all hadn't kept making me run slower." No, it's because of you I didn't win," Rainbow Dash argued. "Y'all got yourself all..." Applejack paused, waving her hoof in a circular pattern before she dropped it down on the table. "Turn round. It was your fault." "No, it was your fault. It was your fault. It was your fault. Mares, please," Celestia said, drawing Rainbow and Applejack's attention away from their argument. The princess then took a moment to drink down one more gulp of the hard cider before she wiped her mouth with a hoof and stood up from the table. "We aren't here to fight. We're here to enjoy good cider with good cider. No, wait, that's not right." Celestia shifted on her hooves, bringing her hind legs together. "We're here to enjoy good cider with... We're here to... Celestia shut her eyes, trying to concentrate on what she wanted to say. Still, the act of standing up to end the argument between Applejack and Rainbow Dash had shifted Celestia's attention to the lower regions of her digestive tract. She began to shift on her hooves anxiously as she crossed her back legs. "We're here we are here to... pee," Celestia said, unable to deny the nature's call any more. She spun on her hooves and with her magic threw open the bathroom door. "I need to pee" was the last thing to escape Celestia's lips before she galloped into the bathroom. The door then slammed shut behind her. And in the wake of Celestia's abrupt bathroom run, Applejack and Rainbow Dash simply stared at the empty space the princess had once occupied. They did nothing, said nothing, and just sat there, with half-open eyes as their inebriated minds tried to process what had happened. Applejack took another drink from a mug. Rainbow Dash swallowed the last bite of a sandwich. And only then did the pair turn to look at one another. You know, it was your fault, Applejack finally said before finishing off the last of his cider in a mug. No, it was your fault, Rainbow Dash snapped. No, it wasn't. Was. I'm only going to tell you this once more, Applejack said. She held up a hoof, trying to sound serious despite the fact that she was swaying a little. Just once. And the thing I'm only going to tell you once, this one time, is that it was your fault, and I can beat you anytime, anywhere. Oh yeah? Prove it. With a relieved smile, Celestia opened the door to the bathroom and stepped out. There was one problem with drinks that had a lower alcohol content compared to her sister's moonshine. She had to drink more to get as drunk, and all that liquid tended to go straight through her. Still, she'd done her business. She approached the table, and with a flurry of her magic, took up her mug and held it in a toast. As I was saying, good cider is meant to be enjoyed with good friends. Cheers! Celestia swung back her mug, downing the rest before slamming it down onto the table with a triumphant smile. She then looked to where Rainbow Dash and Applejack should have been sitting, only to find a pair of empty chairs and empty mugs. Wait, you two were here when I left, Celestia said. But now you're not here. And if you're not here, that means you're gone. And if you're gone, that means you've gone and drunk. And if you're gone and drunk... Celestia's alcohol-addled mind turned over the chain of thought slowly. They were gone, and they were drunk. They were drunk and gone, and that was a bad thing. She was sure of it. She couldn't think of why, but she knew it was a bad thing. I need to find them, Celestia told herself. She stepped away from the table and to the door. She turned the handle and tried to push her way through. The door, however, wouldn't budge. Celestia furrowed her eyebrows in frustration and began pushing against the door with more effort. She pressed her shoulder against it, trying to force it open. I am Princess Celestia of Equestria, she announced to the door, as if it was a rebellious beast that would heed her words. I make the moon go up and the sun go down. No, wait. I make the sun come up and the moon... No. I do things, and I demand that you open this moment. Despite Celestia's demand, the door refused to budge. Taking the door's rebellion as if it was an usurper to a throne, Celestia wrapped it in magic. She pulled on it, with the intention of forcing it forward with all her might. Yet, when her magic pulled on the door, it applied force in the correct direction. The door willingly swung open towards Celestia and smacked her in the nose. The sudden blow sent the princess reeling back. She stumbled past the table, knocking it over and sending everything on it to the floor. She then tripped over her own hooves, fell into the barrel of cider that was in the wooden rack near the wall, and dropped to the floor with a small thud. Celestia might have remained there for a time, just recovering from her fall, but she felt something cold splashing down on her head. The cold liquid sent her bolting up, and with panicked eyes she looked at its source. As she had fallen to the floor, she had knocked the spout cork out of the barrel, and the precious amber cider was now spilling out across the floor. It was a tragic sight, which made Celestia forget about Rainbow Dash and Applejack's absence. She instead focused her full attention on saving her precious cider from the cruel fate of being spilled on the floor. Desperate to save the cider, Celestia laid on her back and put her head beneath the barrel. She drank as quickly as the cider came out, trying to keep the liquid from being wasted. At the same time, she felt around the floor with her magic in search of the spout. It was only after Celestia had gulped down a few dozen swallows of cider, oh no, and was able to cough and choke on it, when she found this cork spout beneath the table. She slammed it into the hole, stopping the flow of cider before she herself let her limbs fall limp in the sizable puddle of cider that now occupied the floor. Oh boy, Celestia said to herself as she rolled onto her stomach and worked to sit up. She stumbled and leaned against the wall as she started to feel the effects of the extra alcohol she had just guzzled. I'm about to get really drunk, and there was something else. There was Applejack and and that mare with the rainbow mane, the one that likes to dash around. What was her name? Rarity? Fluttershy? Soren? Celestia shook her head and began making her way to the door of the room. Well, whatever her name is, I need to find her. I need to find her and Applejack because... Why do I need to find them again? Celestia stopped and scratched her head with a hoof as she tried to recollect why she needed to find those two mares. Her mind, however, was growing fuzzier by the moment, and in the end she was only able to grasp on a single thought. I'm sure Twilight knows. Oh boy. This can only end well. I think we can go on with another part. Okay. Actually, we'll have a look at the messages here. Let's see. I'm not sure, Viral. I'm not sure how long it is. It said 12,000 words, which we can usually get through in an hour, but this is taking a lot longer. Pancake says, oh, I wonder why. Viral says, shut up. All of the shenanigans. Anyway, let's have a look here. What do we got? Okay. Rowan Sudawudu Todd says that we should read more WWE fanfics. No. Rowan says Beer Fest. Yep, pretty much. Prime Sonic says, hey Laura, make sure you announce when you have another commission slot open. Wink. Ah, yes. Lagging Monster says, we are here today to gather the beloved tree and bear in unholy matrimony. What? Yeah, Pancakes just says that must have been some crazy shit going down while I was reading. Yes, I don't even know. I really don't even know. Rowan says, read this fic while you're drunk. Might be an idea. I should do that. The shops are like 5 minutes away. I could go and get something. No, I won't. No. Oh, good lord. Viral just said, if you think I'm bad now, just imagine me while I'm drunk. I don't want to. I mean, you already have the block of glasses, the inside-out, upside-down hat on your head, and the sonic screwdriver, and the fake horse. I don't even know what you would do when you were drunk. What would you do?
Maybe all of that plus more, I don't know.
All, all of that plus more. I'm scared. I think you should all be scared. Prime says, Drunk Celestia is awesome. Yes, she is. She's hilarious, and she's about to get the jump on Twilight now. Oh boy. Rowan says, and also tell Pegasus that there's a couple of new chapters of The Adventures of a Girl and a Lunch. Ooh, really? I can't wait. I want to read those. I want to read those. I want to read those. We only have 40 minutes. We had better get to the end of this fiction then. I want to read these. Well, you heard him, Rowan. Send us a link, please, because I can't really contain him much longer. I think he really wants to get into this. I do. You can stop now. Here we go then. We continue. I didn't hear you, Viral. What was that?
Yeah, I'll put him in a cage again.
He says he's going to put Pegasus into a cage again. No, not the cage. I'll be good. That's enough. That's enough out of you. Just sit there, okay? Sit there. Be patient. You're about to see drunk Molestia. What? Ahem. Viral says, and a few brony streams came true that night. What? Oh my. Oh my. Damn it, Takei! Yep, that's a Star Trek reference. It's official. We are now Star Trekkers. What? No, we're not. We're ponies. With a small thud. Just getting into it. Here we go. With a small thud, A fresh log found itself in the fireplace, feeding the flames that were flickering within the hearth. At the same time, Twilight snuggled up in a blanket, sipped from a warm cup of tea, and started reading the next chapter from a new book, Wonderful Winter Traditions in Trottingham. The cooler months of Equestria's winter were an ample excuse to curl up with a good story at night, and she's taking advantage of it. She was pleasantly warm all over. Spike had gone to bed, so he could wake up early to help Rarity with something. All was quiet, all was peaceful, and it was just a perfect evening at Wham! Twilight jumped, and the sudden motion sent her book and her tea flying downwards. A surge of magic let Twilight grab the tea before it spilt, but the book slammed against the floor. Twilight picked up the book as quickly as it had hit the floor, and an annoyed groan escaped her lips. Several pages of the interior were bent, and one of the hardcover's corners was smashed in. Horse apples, Twilight groused. This book's a day old, and now it looks like I lent it to Rainbow Dash for a week. Twilight cursed and bemoaned the interruption of a quiet evening before she pulled herself out from her warm spot on the couch. She began walking to the front door, and, as she did, she mulled over who could be knocking so late at night. The quick rhythm of the knocks made Twilight believe it was one of two things. It could be one of her friends with an emergency, and, if that was the case, she'd need her boots, her scarf, and possibly a book pertinent to the situation. The pony at the door, however, could just as easily be Pinkie Pie wanting to throw an ill-timed party. Pinkie Pie, Twilight said as she wrapped her magic around the door handle. It's too late and cold for a party, and the rest of Twilight's words died in her throat. The pony she found when she opened the door was none of her friends, and in fact wasn't a pony from Ponyville. It was Celestia, and the moment the door was open all the way, she stepped forward and leaned against the frame with a drunken smile on her lips and a blush on her cheeks. Hey, Twilight. You're looking especially purple today. Celestia couldn't help but giggle at her own joke. Twilight, on the other hoof, furrowed her eyebrows and looked at Celestia with disappointment and a twinge of anger. Princess Celestia! I thought Princess Luna promised you... I thought Princess Luna promised not to let you get this drunk again. Oh, don't worry. Lulu was being a proper stick in the mud, Celestia complained before raising her voice. Stop drinking all that moonshine. You can't have any more of my moonshine. I'm not making you any more moonshine. She brought her voice back down and refocused on Twilight. So you know what I told her? I told her I don't need your stinking moonshine. Well, Celestia shifted, taking her weight off the door frame just to lean over and scratch her other shoulder on the other side of the frame. I didn't say that, but I thought of it, and then I thought I'd make my own. What do you mean, make your own? I had some pony make some, Celestia said with a firm nod before she smiled. Sure, it was illegal, but Luna repealed the law. She kinda had to, since she's been making moonshine. I mean, what would Pony say if they knew Lulu was breaking the law? Do you know? Celestia then leaned in close to Twilight, her face shifting to one of extreme curiosity. No, seriously, do you know? I can't remember right now. Twilight stepped back, waving her hoof at the pungent smell of alcohol that was flowing from Celestia's mouth. Your breath smells like bad cider. Hey, Celestia barked. It was good cider. Your friend Applejack was true to her name. Celestia snorted and began to giggle to herself. I never noticed that before. Your friend's named after alcohol. Really good alcohol. Hey, you think Applejack would make some Applejack? Twilight rubbed her temple. Seeing Celestia like this was bringing back bad memories and a headache. Despite Twilight's prayer that some pony else might arrive to deal with the inebriated Celestia, she knew that, for the moment, the princess was her problem. Princess Celestia, how did you get drunk if it wasn't from Princess Luna's moonshine? I told you. It was good cider. It was real cider. It wasn't that silly stuff Applejack sells during cider season. You got like this from Applejack's cider? Celestia nodded her head and kept nodding as if she was bobbing her head to a song with a deep thumping bass. It took Twilight waving a hoof in front of Celestia's eyes that finally got the princess to stop and look up at her. "Oh, hey, Twilight. When did you get here? Do you want some hot cider? Applejack, Rainbow, and I are tasting it, and it tastes good." "No, Princess, I don't want—" Twilight began, only to freeze up and look at Celestia with narrow, panicked eyes. "Wait, Applejack and Rainbow were drinking with you?" "Oh, yeah," Celestia slurred. "They were drinking with me. They got drunk too, and it was funny. They were arguing and having staring contests. They never asked me to play." "Why didn't they ask me to play, Twilight? I bet I'd be really good at a staring contest. See? I'll prove it." At that, Princess Celestia lowered her head down. She put herself right at eye level with Twilight, and then she just began to stare. She stared unerringly, unblinking and unmoving, as if she had just been petrified. Even her mane, which usually flowed continuously, slowed to a stop as the princess concentrated on staring into Twilight's eyes. "Princess Celestia, I don't think now's a good time to—" Twilight began, only to blink partway through a sentence and make Celestia giggle. "Ha! I won! I am the staring champion of the world!" Celestia cheered. She threw her hooves into the air and continued to celebrate, even as she toppled over onto her back. She hit the floor hard, causing some of the furniture around the room to bounce a little. Still, the hard hit couldn't stop Celestia's joy. She kicked her legs in the air in jubilation, and continued to laugh her head off while Twilight rushed up to her side. "Princess, are you all right?" "Of course I am. Why, just 'cause I just beat you." She punctuated her words by extending a hoof and pressing it against Twilight's nose. "At a staring contest." Celestia then tried to muster her most serious expression, though she only succeeded in making it look like she had to sneeze. "I have taught you many valuable good things, my faithful student, but you still have much to learn, youthful cricket." Celestia began to maul herself on the ground, her face once more falling into a giddy grin. Did I say maul? I was supposed to say haul. My bad. "But your staring is improving, my juvenile Junebug. I'm sure you'll beat me if we play again." Celestia snorted at her own cleverness, and she lowered herself down in preparation for round 2. "Princess, we can't be playing games right now," Twilight lectured as she turned away from Celestia and crossed the room to where her winter boots were resting on the wall. "We need to find where Applejack and Rainbow Dash ran off to. If they're as drunk as you are, they could get themselves hurt." Twilight jumped into her boots, grabbed her scarf off the wall, and turned back to Celestia. "Now, where is the last place you—" "Shh! I'm winning!" Twilight struggled against a sudden and overwhelming urge to face Hoof. Celestia had discovered the small mirror she had recently hung by the door and was now having a staring contest with her reflection. Celestia's stare was unwavering, and it looked like her eyes were beginning to water from the strain, yet she did not stop. "Princess Celestia, shh!" "Princess Celestia," Twilight said again. Celestia didn't take her eyes off the mirror, but waved a hoof in Twilight's general direction. "Shh! Princess Celestia!" It was then Celestia blinked, and the air in the library took on a sudden stillness. She shut her eyes and began to suck in a deep breath. Twilight couldn't help but take an anxious step back. Celestia just kept drawing more and more air in, and her expression was as cold and unforgiving as stone. Twilight braced herself, fearing the verbal lashing she had just earned. Yet, before it could begin, Celestia's face cracked into a smile. She swung a hoof forward, and with every ounce of volume her voice could produce, she shouted, "Ha! You blinked first!" Celestia then leaned into the mirror, resting her horn against the wall as she continued to relish her victory. I saw your eyes closing before Mine closed. You can't deny it. You lose. I win. You have ugly fish skin. Twilight released the tense, worried breath she had been holding, and then shook her head. She grabbed Celestia by her mane and began moving towards the door. Come on, princess. Where are we going? Celestia asked as she was guided outside. To find Rainbow Dash and Applejack, Twilight replied. Applejack? We're going to find Applejack? Celestia asked before she smiled and bounded ahead of Twilight. She pranced through the door and leapt onto the thin layer of snow outside while singing, We're going to find Applejack, we're going to find Applejack. Twilight could only sigh and pull the library door shut behind her before following Celestia into the street. This is going to be a long night. Well, I think it's about time we took ourselves another little break. I'm just wondering what we should... Oh, I know what we should play. Let's see. For an extended break, which we are definitely going to need, I'm going to put on the full suite of Tavi and Scratch by YourEnigma. The current time is 10:33. The entire suite itself is... Wow, that's actually a lot longer than I thought it would be. 12:47. I'm not sure if that includes the fifth track. Let me have a look at this. This is the YouTube version, so it doesn't include the fifth track. So we've got the 4 tracks, The Argument, The Breakup, Remorse, Run to Her, and Attica, Forgiveness, which is absolutely beautiful. Wonderful, as a matter of fact. So here we go. We're going with the Tavi and Scratch full suite by YourEnigma. You're listening to FanFiction Fridays on Oatstralia On Air Live. When is it my turn? I think we're going to have to go into next week. Aww. Thank you for listening. That was YourEnigma with the Tavi and Scratch full suite minus the last actual track. This was the YouTube version, and it was absolutely beautiful. As Prime says, classical and wubs, I like this. It's so good. Rowan also says, I find my head is bobbing up and down to this. I found it too when I listened to it. For all of you who want to find out more and are listening to this on the YouTube later on, the link will be in the description below. Alrighty, I've just had a look through the rest of this fanfiction. We are not finishing this tonight. We have 13 minutes to read whatever else is left of this. So we're going to do it. We're going to try and, get as much of this done as possible in the 13 minutes that are left. And as a special bonus, I'll be showing a little, I won't be showing, I'll be doing a little preview of Shenanigans of Magic, okay? It's just me, Viral, it's okay. It's okay, Viral, it's fine. Yes, Pancakes, you don't have to do this. It's cool. So, we shall continue from where we left off. Twilight scanned the deserted intersection, trying to spot any sign of Rainbow Dash or Applejack. Also, you're probably all hearing a rumbling right now. Again, that's another train. Let us focus on my voice. Focus on the sound of my voice. She and Celestia had started their search at the inn, hoping to pick up the duo's trail. Unfortunately, the well-traveled snow that covered Ponyville's streets was making that difficult. This was also another white-coated distraction that was making it... There was also another white-coated distraction that was making it difficult for Twilight to focus on the task at hoof. Psh! A cold, wet mass stuck to the back of Twilight's head and sent a shiver crawling down her spine. She lifted her hoof and brushed away the snow that now clung to her mane before looking back at Celestia. The princess was making a lackluster attempt to whistle and look innocent, even though she was already holding another snowball in her magic. Princess, I told you, we can't have a snowball fight right now. We need to find Applejack and Rainbow Dash. Now put the snowball down. Celestia giggled drunkenly. Okay, Twilight. I'll put it down. Psh! This time the snowball hit Twilight in her side, and once more she quickly brushed away the wet, clumpy snow before she turned to face the princess. Princess Celestia, please, no more snowballs. Celestia only continued to giggle as she took up more snow in her magic. Instead of patting it into a ball, she instead shaped it into a cube. Twilight tried to raise her voice and hoof in protest, but the snow cube was already in flight. It arced in the air and found its target. Psh! Celestia's giggles evolved into full-on laughter in celebration of her greatest snowball triumph. She had just hit Twilight square in the nose, splattering the wet snow all across her student's face. The sudden flash of coldness against her cheeks, eyelids, and forehead made Twilight yelp. She stumbled back and feverishly used her hooves to try and wipe off the snow. Ah, Princess Celestia, that's cold! Really? Are you sure? Celestia slurred as a mischievous grin formed on her face. Maybe we need to make sure. How about I throw one more? Princess, no! Twilight said as she took an anxious step back. Don't you remember what I told you last time, Twilight? You can't tell me what to do. Only I can tell me. So it's not Princess, no. No, it's Princess, yes! Celestia counted before she took up another clump of snow in her magic. She formed it into a square shape, and then, after taking a moment to aim, Celestia unleashed her frozen fury. The snowball sailed through the air with a near-perfect arc. Twilight, however, saw the frigid attack was coming, and had prepared her own magic. She caught the cube of packed snow, and before she could think about what she was doing, she hurled it back. The snow cube splattered across Celestia's face, and for a moment Twilight's lips curled into a smile. Ha! How do you... It was then Twilight's smile fell into a frown as she realized what she had done. Oh, Princess Celestia, I'm sorry. I didn't mean... Well, I did kind of mean to, but I'm sorry. You aren't hurt, are you? Celestia slowly, methodically wiped snow from her face. Only when every flake had been removed did she look to Twilight. Her face was cold, stern, and unforgiving. Twilight couldn't help but shrink back, fearing the worst for the princess. Yet, instead of saying something, Princess Celestia began to smile. It started out small, but it grew until it was as large as her face would allow. At the same time, Celestia began to pick up and shape a few dozen clumps of snow in her magic. "Now, Princess," Twilight said, trying to keep herself from being pelted by the volley of snow Celestia was preparing. "Don't you think we should find Applejack and Rainbow Dash? I mean... I mean..." Twilight searched for her words, trying to remember how she had persuaded Celestia to do something the last time she was drunk. "I mean, wouldn't a snowball fight be more fun if there were more ponies?" Twilight's face strained under the unnatural grin she forced upon it. Even in the cold of night she was sweating bullets. She glanced to the looming snowball onslaught, and then looked back to Celestia. This seemed to be the key to dealing with the princess. At least, when she was drunk. Make her think she was getting what she wanted until she decided she wanted something else. Princess Celestia mulled over this suggestion for a time. Her face took on an expression of contemplation. She acted like deciding to find Applejack and Rainbow Dash was tantamount to starting a war, and she had to carefully consider her options. She tilted her head at odd angles, and looked over Twilight as she thought. In the end, after a minute of contemplation, she dropped her snowballs and began to trot down the street away from Twilight. "Princess Celestia, where are you going?" Twilight asked as she trotted to catch up to her mentor. "To get Applejack and Rainbow Dash," the princess answered. "But we don't know where they are." Celestia giggled again and shook her head. "Nope, I know where they are. I saw them back here. They were bucking at trees." "You saw them and you didn't say anything?" Twilight asked, a bit dumbfounded. "Why wouldn't you say something? That's the whole reason we're out here." "Hey, I was making a snowball and it was taking all my concentration. Concretation. Concentration. You were right the first time," Twilight corrected. "What? What? It's concentration. You said concretation." Celestia giggled again, and stumbled a little from her own laughter. "That's not a word, Twilight. Why are you making up silly words like that? I didn't make it up. I was... Oh, never mind. Come on. Come on, you gosh darn tree. Give me your apples. I'll buck you to... Shoot, before I buck you some more. What's the matter, Applejack? I thought you were going to buck circles around me. I am. You ain't got a single apple yet." Twilight rounded a corner to the sound of hooves striking bark and slurred insults, and finally allowed herself to breathe a sigh of relief. Halfway down the block, in one of Ponyville's many parks, she saw the two wayward mares. Applejack and Rainbow Dash were stumbling and swaying, but they weren't letting that slow them down. Each was bucking at her own tree, and it looked as if the pair had been at it for a long time. They were both sweating bullets, and the bark on the trees themselves was starting to crack and fall from the constant abuse. "There you two are," Twilight said, the relief clear in her voice. She and Celestia galloped up, though Celestia was more interested in the nearby frozen pond. With a gleeful squeal, she stepped onto the pond and began to slide around using her wings for propulsion. Twilight would have likely tried to warn Celestia about hurting herself, but at that moment her greater concern was Applejack and Rainbow Dash. "I'm so glad we found you two," Twilight said as she stepped up to Applejack, who was still trying to buck the tree. "I've been so worried. Celestia came by the library drunk, and she told me you two had been drinking with her. I was afraid that you two get into poison joke or hurt yourselves or... Twilight could not concentrate on her concerns anymore, the constant thud of Applejack bucking drawing her attention. "What are you two doing?" "And apple bucking contest," Applejack said between bucks. "You're having an apple bucking contest? Here? Now?" Applejack swayed a little on her hooves, but regained her balance and resumed bucking. "Yep, First to Rainbow, how we decide who wins again? Rainbow Dash swung her back legs, missed the tree, and was hauled into the air by the momentum of her hooves. She should have fallen flat on her back, but drunken instincts kicked in. She flapped her wings and managed to keep herself suspended upside down in the air. It's the first to buck all the apples. It's the steel... no, wait. Copper? Silver? Copper? Iron. That's it. Iron Pony. But it's winter. There aren't any apples on those trees. Or leaves. Those trees are bare. Twilight pointed at the trees. Those aren't even apple trees. They're oaks. Doesn't matter, Applejack said before she bucked at the tree once more, causing a few trunks of bark to splinter off. An apple can get an apple from any tree. I'm gonna be the Iron Pony. Iron Pony! Celestia cheered as she continued to gleefully slip and slide across the small frozen pond. She then beat her wings, slowing herself to a stop before she looked over in Twilight and Applejack's direction with hope. Hey, can I be the Iron Pony? Ha! You couldn't beat us, Rainbow Dash said as she continued to hover upside down in the air. You're just a princess. A frilly princess. You don't have what it takes. You couldn't even beat the Changeling Queen. That pretty pink princess and Twilight's brother had to do it. Do it for you. Rainbow Dash, Twilight scolded. What? Rainbow Dash slurred. She tried to spin herself around to talk to Twilight, but ended spinning too much and facing Celestia. It's true. She got squashed by a bug. Twilight looked over in Celestia's direction, her mouth already open and ready to utter a dozen words of apology to the princess. It was, however, too late. The drunken merriment that Celestia had been lost in was abruptly ended by Rainbow's words. With a flap of her wings, she jumped off the pond, causing the thick ice to crack and splinter like thin glass. Celestia then landed next to Rainbow Dash, her eyes blurry but still holding a frightening fire. Frilly? Celestia questioned coldly. Frilly? Frilly? I am not frilly. I am not a filly. She began to pace in front of Rainbow, Twilight, and Applejack. Her steps were shaky, but she was still managing a halfway respectable parade march. I am not a frilly filly. I am Princess Celestia. I am the Solaria Invicta. I am Princess Celestia Solaria Invicta. Princess Celestia, the unconquerable sun. It was my sister and I who conquered Discord for the first time. It was my sister and I who did a bunch of other stuff. Celestia turned, used her magic to push Rainbow out of the way, and strode towards the tree Rainbow Dash had been bucking at. She inspected it for just a moment, then turned her back to it. And if I want to be the Iron Pony... Celestia leaned forward onto her forelegs, drew back her rear hooves, and tensed her muscles. Then I am the Iron Pony! Celestia bucked, throwing her hooves out with all the strength she could muster. Her hooves connected with the tree and sunk deep into its side. The tree groaned, cracked, and began to bend under the princess's strength, like a small twig that was ready to snap. Before the tree itself could buckle, however, the roots gave way. From the frozen ground, the tree broke free, and under the power of Celestia's hooves, it arced into the air. Twilight, Applejack, and Rainbow Dash all watched as the tree soared higher than the nearby trees and buildings. It then began to tumble back to earth, and with a resounding crash, it fell into the street, a broken and splintered pile of its former self. And given that the time is now 11:01, we're going to end it here for now. Tune in next week for the continuation of Mug of Hard Cider and hopefully some new fics as well. Now, before I go, why wasn't I able to read? Why? It's okay, it's only the first show. We're going to be able to do some more next week. You can read some of your troll fictions then. Joy. Hey, don't take that tone with me. I mean, Announcer Pony barely got anything. He got one line in the beginning. Yeah, I mean, come on. Where's the love? It's out there in the audience somewhere. Now, as I promised, there's going to be a very small, if interesting, little preview of Shenanigans Are Magic. If you'll all excuse me for just a moment while I figure this one out. Let's see. I don't believe I've got this at all. Let me see. Do I have the right one? No, I don't. Darn it. Okay. If anyone has the instrumental to the opening for My Little Pony... Wait, got it. Yay. This works. Okay. Now, I'm going to scar everyone here for life, because I'm about to sing the theme song for Shenanigans Are Magic. This has been FanFiction Fridays. I've been Golden Microphone, Pegasus, announcer voice, and we hope to see you next week, 9 p.m. sharp, Friday. Also, be sure to tune in soon for the very first Shenanigans Are Magic, coming very soon. My little gamer, my little gamer, ah, my little gamer. I used to wonder what multiplayer would be, my little gamer, till you plugged your controller in with me. Roleplay adventures, fighting games, cooperative missions, puzzle to rearrange, sharing resources, keep to the beat, tournaments in which we to compete. My little gamer, I can't keep to the beat. Did you know you're my best friend? Mario Party? Good night, everybody. For those of you on YouTube, you just witnessed strangeness. Good night, every pony.